In this video, we're gonna talk about the top 5 mistakes to avoid when buying a home in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
What's up, everyone? This is Brian and Benjamin Tercero, and we are the Tercero Agency right here in the beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. If this is your first time on this channel, we're here to get you educated on what it's like to be a Santa Fe local. So make sure that you tap that subscribe button and hit that little bell, so that way every time that we create a new video, you're notified.
Now, we are born and raised in Santa Fe, and our families have been enjoying the city for generations. And moving to a new town, it can be stressful, and there are lots of mistakes that people make that can be completely avoided. So for those of you that are considering making a move to Santa Fe and don't want to lose your hair and gain a whole bunch of weight in the process, we're here to talk about the top 5 mistakes to avoid when buying a home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Let's get started.
So after helping hundreds of people buy homes and relocate to Santa Fe over the years, I've noticed that many of our clients face similar challenges when it comes to their home search. After looking at everything, we've boiled it down to these top 5 mistakes that really make the difference between winning and losing in this market. Mistake number 1 to avoid when buying a home in Santa Fe is trying to do it all on your own. Now, I can already hear all of you out there thinking, okay, here he goes. He's gonna tell me that I need to get a realtor. Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. And before you go clicking off this video, just hear me out for a second. This market that we're in, it's unlike anything any of us have ever seen before. It's unprecedented. When it comes to navigating your way through this, you really deserve to have access to all the best resources, all the best information, and you really deserve to have access to all the best homes that fit your criteria. Most realtors won't just come out and say this, but you'd probably be surprised if you knew how many homes actually end up selling off the market without ever seeing the light of day on websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, or Trulia.com. There's even a lot in our own MLS here in Santa Fe. Now, they allow us to broadcast listings that are not on the market yet within our own offices that are not available to the general public. And there are a lot of amazing homes that are getting sold that you never have access to unless somebody tapped you into that network. Most of these private sellers just don't want to have dozens of people running through their home, but they all usually have a number in mind. And if they could get it, they'd hand over those keys and be out of there in a heartbeat. And trust me, it's a lot less stressful when you're negotiating an offer on a home that either no one or very few other people know about. And it ends up being a win-win for everyone. This right here, along with a few other things that we'll get into in this video, is why our clients are usually getting their offer accepted the first or maybe the second time around, while most other home buyers are submitting like 5 or 6 offers before they end up getting one accepted. But it's not just about getting access to the shadow inventory out there. More than anything, it's about connecting with the right real estate team that'll help you see around every corner and really understand what it takes to win in this market, along with removing all the friction and the stress that comes with buying a home, so that way you can move forward in confidence.
All right, mistake number 2, getting started too late. So we have a lot of people reaching out to us to let us know that they're moving into the area next month, which is pretty much an impossibility unless they decide to write an offer that night sight unseen, which happens every now and then. Buying a house, it is a process. This isn't like going to the store and grabbing cereal off the shelf. This is more like trying to buy toilet paper when COVID first started. You remember seeing people's baskets stacked full of toilet paper? Humans are just weird. Look, if you're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath with granite countertops and a nice backyard, so are 1,000 other people. You need to be prepared, otherwise you're gonna watch dream house after dream house disappear. So, what should you be figuring out ahead of time? Now, if you're looking to buy a house anytime soon, as in the next 3 to 6 months, you absolutely need to have your pre-qualification letter from whichever lender that you've decided to work with. If you're buying a house any sooner than 3 months, you're already way behind on this, my friends, so get it done stat. I'll talk more about lenders in a moment, but for now, just know that you'll need that letter first and foremost. Why? I'm glad you asked. Because I said so. Just kidding. But didn't you love hearing that phrase as you were growing up as a kid? Now, the reason is that when you find the right house and you want to submit an offer, the seller won't even look at your offer without a pre-qual letter. And sometimes these letters can take a lender a day or two to get back to you, which means goodbye to that house, goodbye to all the parties you planned for the backyard, Goodbye to that perfect spot you planned to put the Christmas tree. Goodbye to happiness. Just kidding. It isn't the end of the world, but it is worth avoiding. You're probably asking, well, can't we just submit the offer without the letter and then get it if our offer's accepted? The answer is a big fat no. See, that letter becomes filter number 1 for all of the offers that get cut in round 1. Because odds are there will be a handful of other offers. So just get it done. Do it. Do it now. Okay, you get it. Next thing after the pre-qual letter, you need to have an idea of what it is that you're looking for. And don't just say a house. No, you need to know what you want from the home that you're about to buy. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms do you need, and how much square footage? And what areas do you want to be in the city? Sift through all the homes that come on the market 3 to 6 months before you want to move. This isn't so that you can buy one of them, but so that you can start to get familiar with what your money can buy and what you can reasonably expect from a house. Keep in mind, I asked what you need in a house. Everyone wants a disco ball that pops out of the ceiling for party nights, but that is a want, not a need. You can't show up looking for a 4-bed, 3-bath, a 3-car garage and a swimming pool with mountain views if your budget is $500,000. That house doesn't exist here. So spend time before the move getting familiar with our houses and making lists of what are absolute essentials in your next home and what you can live without to make your budget and your home work for you. And then there's the time that it's going to take to view homes in person or virtually, because we do video tours all the time. Then there's the time to submit the offer and negotiate the deal. And then there's the 30 to 45 days it'll typically take us to get from an accepted offer to the closing table. See, this is exactly like buying toilet paper in the spring of 2020. Buying a home takes time, so do not start late. Reach out to us today so that we can make a game plan that sets you up for success.
And here we are. The number 3 mistake to avoid when buying a home in Santa Fe is FOMO. Now, if you haven't experienced this before, then I'm here to tell you that the fear of missing out is a very real thing, and it usually starts to settle in a couple of weeks before you officially jump into the home search. For a lot of people, it's the calm before the storm, when you're putting the final touches on your home before it hits the market for sale, or you're going through the loan approval process, and it's especially tough for our out-of-state folks who have flights booked to show up for their home search, and they're really anxious to just get out there and look at homes. It's right about that time that people start watching the market like a hawk, and almost every single listing that pops up, you think it starts to check all the boxes. I'm telling you right now so you can go ahead and get ready for it, because all of a sudden, every new home that hits the market is the right price, it's the right size, it has the perfect layout, it's in an amazing neighborhood with great schools, and it's right around the corner from the rail yard. And you're not exactly in a position yet to make an offer. Okay, take a deep breath and calm down. We see this kind of thing all the time. I promise you, those are not the only homes out there, and you definitely shouldn't go blowing up your plan and start rushing to force something to happen. If you're not quite ready yet, that's how you make mistakes. We've seen this scenario play out, and you really just have to go into this thing knowing that all the homes that are coming and going off the market, that the perfect home is going to be available for you when you're ready to pull the trigger. Yes, the housing market is crazy in Santa Fe, and yes, there's lots of competition. And yes, you should absolutely move fast and make decisions quickly, but there's no need to rush. I mean, we've never had clients regret making a plan and sticking to it. The home that will work perfectly for you is out there. It's our team's job to make sure you get it. So don't let the fear of missing out misdirect you. You're not going to miss out. We got you. Let us guide you through this.
Numero 4, choosing a bad lender. Yes, just like bad cooks, politicians, and even babysitters, there are bad lenders out there, and it can have a massive impact on whether you're able to get a house or not. I'm not allowed to tell you who to use, but it is worth investigating, because you and someone else could submit the exact same offers, and you would lose if you were using a certain lender where the other person is using someone like a local lender. See, the lender is a huge factor in how smoothly a deal will go. Are they easy to get a hold of? Do they respond quickly? Do they have a bad reputation for being able to get an appraisal ordered and completed in time for closing? This is a huge one. See, a seller's realtor's job is to help the seller make the best decision with the information provided in each offer. If I received 2 similar offers, but one person was using some huge corporate bank that I know just dropped the ball on one of my last clients' houses, and the other person is using someone who I can literally walk into their office to check on how things are going with the deal, I would advise my seller to take the offer with the local lender. Why? Because it eliminates the headaches of this deal going from a 30-day close to a 60-day close or no close, and now everyone has to sign extension after extension. Even if the person with the big local lender is offering a little bit more money, it's usually just not worth it for the seller. So what sort of lender should you find? I can't tell you who to use, but I can make recommendations for you. Use someone who's responsive and helpful, and they're able to answer any and all questions that you have. Ask about their track record and how long it takes for them to get appraisals done on average. Ask them if they're going to be the one helping you through the whole process, or if you're going to get passed back and forth between 5 different staff members. You want someone who will be with you through the whole thing, not someone who has to catch up on your file because they're the ones who are scheduled for today, but also have no clue who you are or what you're even buying. You want someone who's gonna call the listing realtor to tell them how solid your financing is, someone who advocates for you and doesn't just look at you as a file on their desk. See, we've had offers accepted simply because of who the lender was and because they were proactive. We've even beat out cash offers because of all this. It really matters who you work with. Skip the stress and the weight gain and zits and constant boiling anger that you're gonna get from working with a bad lender. It's just not worth it when there's other options available. Again, we can't tell you who to work with, but if you need some help figuring this part out, we can recommend some excellent local lenders for you to interview.
Mistake number 5 to avoid when buying a home in Santa Fe is playing games with your offer. So I've been a realtor since the fall of 2009 or something like that, and I have never seen a real estate market like this before. None of us have, not even the 70-plus-year-old veteran realtors pushing 30 years in the business. We are literally in an auction type environment where the list price is the starting price, where you have one shot to make your best offer, and where second place means you have to hit the streets again and keep looking for another home that could work for you. And when I talk about playing games with your offer, what I really mean is that most people have a number in mind that's a bit of a stretch, but still within the realm of possibilities that they could go to, but they really don't want to go that high. And I get it. Most of you really don't want to go to your highest number because you're still out there in this market looking for a deal. And everyone wants to feel like they got the best deal and the best price possible. No one likes the feeling of being taken advantage of. What we focus on helping our clients understand, though, is that the market determines what a deal is. And let me explain. Sometimes a deal is in the numbers, the best deal possible. And sometimes the deal just means getting your offer accepted. Clearly, we're in a market where the goal line is simply getting the seller to say yes, which means they had to say no to many other buyers hoping to make the same property their future home. It's competitive, and while that may change at some point in the future, we have to make offers based on what we are seeing right in front of us. So what does that look like exactly? Well, I've had a lot of people ask me, what do I think I should offer? What do I think it's going to be accepted for? And the short answer is, we really don't know. I mean, we're really going to go into this thing blind as far as knowing what other people are offering. But here's something that I have for you that should help you figure this thing out. We always tell our clients that you should offer the absolute most money possible, such that if you get the house, you're still going to sleep well at night in it. And if you don't get the house, you're still going to sleep at night well because you know you wouldn't have paid $1 more for it. We get a lot of couples sometimes where they come up with a different number, so they need to go off for a bit to cuss and discuss before we put anything on paper. But we've never seen that strategy fail before because you're either excited that you got the home or you're at peace because you've already had a plan in place ahead of time. Sometimes your best offer isn't going to be enough. Sometimes another buyer wanted it or needed the home more and was willing to pay an even higher price. Sometimes you just have to be okay walking away and keep looking. We will give you as much data as possible to make the best decision possible when negotiating, but at the end of the day, sellers are looking for the most money and the best terms possible. You have to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for this. How are you going to feel if you don't get this house? Well, we've successfully navigated 30+ buyers just this year through this jungle, and most of them are relocating from out of state, just like you. The one thing I know is true is that when you have a plan and you stick with it, the right home is going to come along and we're going to pounce on it.
Okay, bonus mistake to avoid. Number 6, we've covered the top 5 mistakes to avoid, but we do have this bonus one, and it's very important for us to discuss. Ready for it? There's no such thing as a perfect house. I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's worth expanding on. When you first imagined buying a home in Santa Fe, you started making a list in your head about all the must-haves. You've been thinking about the perfect neighborhood, the most beautiful finishes, the perfect floor plan, and that beautiful chef's kitchen that you've always wanted. But we all know how our perfect plans usually go. Usually, they go up in smoke, just like Zozobra. Again, one of the first places to start when shopping for a home in Santa Fe is understanding what your money can actually buy you in the different parts of the city. If you have a budget of $550,000, you shouldn't be disappointing yourself by starting your search in the $1 million neighborhoods. Once you have a good grip on what type of home you can find within your price range, then we can start to narrow things down. We advise our clients to make a top 10 list of must-haves, and on the flip side, also a list of things that could possibly be deal breakers. Don't want a single step in your home because you're worried about falling in your retirement years? That one little change is going to remove a good number of homes to consider right off the bat. When you understand what part of town you can buy in and you have your top 10 list of features, then we are looking at homes together. We're trying to get as many of those features checked off the list. Now, experience tells us that there's never going to be a 100% perfect home. Even if you build your home yourself, there will still be things that you don't like and that you do like years down the road. We see it all the time. So, instead of trying to find a home with every single item, simply try to get as many of them off the list as possible. The perfect home for you right now may only have 6 to 7 of your top wants instead of all 10. When you get pretty close to checking as many items off the list, get ready to write that offer. Remember, it's not about the perfect house. This is about living the life you've always dreamed of living in that house. It's about the experiences and the memories that you're gonna make when you're living in Santa Fe. Trust me, when you've been in the home for a year, you won't even remember that you wanted a home with a certain style of windows because you've learned to love the windows that came with the house.
Now, if you want any more information about buying or selling a home in the Santa Fe, New Mexico area, then give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or click the link below in the description to schedule a Zoom call with a member of our team.
However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Let us be your guide.